Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Please share, especially. Thank you very much. Underhand has as much to do with single hand fly casting as double hand. It originated, I don't know how it originated, but you see videos on YouTube. Here I'm doing an underhand haul. Hey everybody, this morning I watched Klaus Frimor on North 40's channel, so check it out if you're on YouTube. The North 40, Klaus Frimor's crash course in Scandi Casting. Excellent video. There's links in the description if you want to support their site, so check it out. Anyway, here's a few things about Klaus Frimor's casting. Klaus appears to be using a fairly fast rod, which I prefer for underhand. He uses a very short shooting head, a very long leader, say 15 to 20 feet long, and he anchors only the fly and the leader. He uses a very short forward cast with his upper hand and a long haul with his bottom hand. The cast you'll see me and Charlie doing on this video are not necessarily underhand casts. We are hauling with our bottom hand on the forward cast. The haul you see me doing when I sweep and set the anchor in the single spey is really not necessary for underhand casting unless you are doing regular overhead fly casting using the underhand style, basically to false cast like you would in any normal fly fishing situation.
It's just the leader that anchors. Nice and quiet. And higher line speed going forward.
In my last video, mother of all Spey Casting videos, I caused a little confusion when I talked about underhand casting. So for one, underhand casting is a little bit confusing in the term itself because it makes you think of bait casting underhand. With a fly rod, we're not talking about flipping it underhand. We're talking about a technique where we use our lower hand, bottom hand, or underhand to supply most of our casting power. Now for single hand casting, which underhand is used for, we use it to haul. With a two-hander, it goes like this. Lift, sweep very slowly, and cast. The sweep is made by stirring the pot. That's what Goran calls it, or a half circle from here to here, and then casting. That is underhand casting. Using the bottom hand, casting short shooting heads, sweeping with it, and forward casting with it. It starts slow, and then we do our half circle, and they don't necessarily always drift up here. When you watch Goran does it, he does that a little bit, but Klaus Frimor circles around and then goes like that. So if you keep it low, there's less of a chance of having trouble blowing anchors. The higher you get, the more aerialized it seems your line becomes. So if you keep everything down low and do everything real slow, and don't hesitate back here after your sweep for a long time, you'll keep that D-loop off the water and use very little arms and a lot of bottom hand motion, starting on the top of your thigh and ending about the same place. Learning all the time. Thank you, Two-Line Dango, for bringing that out, buddy. Appreciate it. Those are probably considered underhand casts. If you Google underhand cast, that's probably what's going to come up unless you Google underhand cast fly fishing. So if I do a YouTube search for underhand casting, I'm going to get me. That's a good one to watch. There's me again. Klaus Frimor. He does the underhand style. Me again. See, the underhand casting technique, Goran Anderson. That is what I mean by underhand, what Goran Anderson popularized, and probably what has permeated through a lot of casting. It has largely influenced a lot of casters, and what helps me is always remember to use your bottom hand. It is a great way to implement power without hurting your body a lot. I try to always remember to use my bottom hand, whether I'm Spey casting long lines, Scandi casting, or using modern Scandinavian casting techniques. Use it as much as you can. The point is, though, when you're underhand casting the lines it was intended for, this part where you make your sweep, you do a half circle with your bottom hand. That part right there, if you got a really short shooting head, very little power. It's very little. If you go to doing it too fast, man, you're gonna just shoot you might as well overhand it. What I meant to say is you might as well overhead cast it, because it's gonna fly behind you. Here's what happens when you sweep too hard and your Spey cast turns into an overhead cast. The underhand casting technique, overhead casting with a two-handed or one-handed fly rod, which basically means if you just want to do regular fly casting, the underhand cast can be used. There's always guys saying, yeah, I know guys who can cast a long belly underhand, and they probably mean they're using a lot of bottom hand in their Spey casting, and most distance casters and Spey casters use a lot of bottom hand, but they also use a lot of top hand, but they're using both hands for the longer lines. I'm not saying all this is impossible. I'm saying the easiest, probably the most effective, probably the most efficient, the more fun, the more, you gotta push that easy button, man. It's gotta be easy. Whatever you're doing, use the most fun, easy tech. Don't try to be the best fly caster in the whole wide world and do all the really, try to Scandi cast a 10-inch weighted, super heavy musky fly. This is exactly what I didn't want to do, get into the big long spiel. My point is, hopefully I made my point. Why the bottom hand does, I don't want to get into that. So I hope this clears up some of the confusion. Single hand fly rod, overhead, and possibly touch and go, waterborne, to I gotta be fishing. You gotta be kidding me. Oh. Ha! And hopefully I'll make enough off my donation button to get this horn removed from my skull. After my last video, I got quite a few, well, not quite a few, but one comment. I didn't mean to be confusing, but then if you get your line twisted, you go like this, and if you twist it the other way,